Recording!
I love that cat. I love that guy who's sitting there, whose name's on the screen.
I know. I've loved him for a long time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's just one of those dudes, like Carol was talking about yesterday with Gary, like you just meet and you just, there's no reason, you don't understand, but like you just love.
There's a connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have that with Richard Chassler?
I've always had that with him.
Cool.
Since the beginning.
Well, we are here. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
How you doing?
I'm
You've
great.
Had a morning.
I've had a morning.
You were awesome last time I talked to you, and then you came in looking like death, saying, I'm going to go walk around the pool for a second just to kind of get some sunshine. Yep.
Yeah. I'm better.
And then you came back, medicated a little bit, and you seem a lot better.
That's the irony. I didn't medicate, and that's what the sun was for. I needed to recharge a little bit.
Well, that's a great lesson.
FYI.
All right. Well, today is Thursday, June 21st, 2018. Our guest today is Richard Chassler, who is over here in the house as we speak. Yay. He's medicating a little bit. What do we have to do today? We've got some stuff to go through.
Got a couple things.
Yes. Let's see. Well, you know what? There's not too much because we went so long yesterday that we're trying to teach ourselves some manners. Yes. Kept Carol Lee for here for like an hour and a half.
I know.
Oh, sure, an hour, no problem.
I think that's part of why my energy's depleted. We were like an hour, and we're like, see, I'm just like, oh, we kept you longer than I.
You know what? Let's talk about it just for a second, though, because one, it was surreal. It was awesome. I watched it back, portions of it back last night, just to see how things were in my brain and how they actually were versus what I remembered. There is absolutely no doubt that after, to me, everything seemed starting like, oh, fine, this is good, just another guest. And then at some point, it was like we all realized we were all on the Letterman furniture. And I was looking at her. I'm looking at someone I've seen sit there before. It's our first guest who's ever actually been in that chair before. And I think it definitely became surreal to me. And it took me, you know what I mean? I think it became a little more, I'm not sure what happened after that. I felt like that definitely happened with you because it turned into the Chris Farley show a little bit where we're like, you're just so great. We just love you so much. Remember that time when you were in the Beatles?
I watched it this morning and I got a little sycophantic. I did get a little sycophantic. But
we all did, but it's part of it. It was so honest.
It's part of the whole thing, and it was really a phenomenal moment selfishly for me, too, to realize, like, oh, it made me realize what we've been talking about of, like, it's about stories.
Yes.
And so to be able to have a conversation with someone I was as awkward as possible, and I told her the minute she walked in, I'm like, I'm the most awkward human. I'm sorry.
Did you really? Is that what you said? Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So it's what I think we've become about, of just like have conversations. It's not about selling it. It's just like being who you are.
I had a whole thing here of questions. I mean, like actual legitimate, like Larry King questions.
Yeah.
I don't think we got to any of them. It was just like, can you tell us a Letterman story? Can you tell us a story about the writer's room from this show? Or what was it like Gary Shandling? It really was that kind of a sycophantic episode.
A little bit. But that's her book is lessons that are from stories of that. So I felt like it at least was in the wheelhouse.
I'm very hopeful that at some point this experience will be one of the stories in one of your books.
It, without a doubt, will be.
That's awesome. Do you want to get to the news, Mrs. Ryan? Then what's going on?
What's going on? Dun, 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 dun.
That's my favorite. Is dun, dun, dun. What's going on, Mrs. Ryan?
What's going on? Today's the summer solstice.
Is that it's the longest day of the year?
Longest day, shortest night.
Oh, okay. So are people freaking out then today? Is it one of those like an astrology thing too where it's all whack?
Well, the astrology thing is sun goes into Cancer today, which is like a totally new sign, and it's emotional and whatever. So the fact that today's the longest sun in the water.
Cancer's okay in the sky, right? It's just bad in us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? It's got such a negative connotation. Oh, the sun's going into Cancer. And it's like, oh, well, that's the poor sun. Oh, my God. Should we all send hopes and prayers? You know what I mean? It's that kind of a...
It's that, here's the thing, the sign, if you look at it for like what everything means, right?
Yeah.
It's the emotional, it's the beginning of the emotions.
Oh, okay.
So it really is the rainbow of all of them. So if you look at health as a magnet to emotions, you make your own correlations, but like it definitely, to me, coincides.
Cool. All right.
So heads up.
Yeah.
Lots of sun today. The real news, though, is that Coco the Gorilla died.
Oh, that was, okay, yep.
It's 46.
I have a picture here somewhere because that was going to be one of mine, too. There we go. That's a picture some people might know.
Yeah.
It was special to me. I mean, I don't know, how much do you know about Coco the Gorilla?
I remember Coco being a big deal when I was a kid, and I know...
Like the 90s?
The 90s, and in college we talked about it because of the psychology that she offered the animal kingdom community.
I'm going to ask you to have a good cry later and Google Coco and Robin Williams on YouTube. And there were some great videos where these two living beings are just communicating and interacting and loving one another, and they made friends, and Coco knew Robin. And it's just, to me, it's an incredibly cool telling piece about Robin Williams, of course, who we all probably love. And then this animal that a lot of people don't give another thought about, or a thought about. I
saw the pictures of Coco with Fred Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, of course, another one, just someone inherently good.
Well, you just see it's like this versus Love Fest, and like he was Love Fest guy.
Coco? Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers with Coco. It wasn't like posing to take a photo. It was like they were connected. It was very adorable.
Yeah. All right, well, that's a sad one. So
that's that one, but now I'm going to turn it up.
Okay.
Well, not on this one. The cop who fatally shot the unarmed 17-year-old outside of Pittsburgh had been ordained or sworn in like an hour and a half before.
Ordained.
Like, that's nuts. And so my only point, like, that's sad. I'm sure it will be more talked about, but the only reason I wanted to say it is, like, take a breath, back up, like, everyone slow down. That's nuts.
Everyone or that guy?
Well, that guy, it's too late for that guy. He already did what he did.
Yeah, it's rough. For me, I go to the one earlier in the week, maybe last week, but it's still unfolding. But the kid it was a road rage thing, and a kid followed, like a 16-year-old kid, a young kid followed a mom and her 3 kids into like the dentist's office and killed one of the kids in front of the mom. They got into a fight and killed one of the kids in front of the mom, threatening to kill the other. I mean, it was just like, wow, that's straight up Grand Theft Auto.
That's
you know what I mean? Like, oh, you follow somebody there, you kill them. Oh, that was fun, and then drive away, like crazy.
I can't.
Yeah, I steer away from these stories. Man, you go to the fucking dark shit, don't you?
Well, here's the deal. Yeah,
that's on television. People can hear that shit. I'm trying to like push the good stuff.
I know.
You do whatever you want. I'm trying to
push the good stuff too, and so I want to turn it around, and that's why I'm like, slow down. Look at your actions.
Good. Oh, you're teaching
anyone
lessons.
Does anything.
See, you're ahead of me.
A little bit on that one. I wasn't trying to be negative. Another study says that Jurassic Park was very wrong.
Are you okay? Did your confidence go down or your energy?
I skipped something, but I did not do it smoothly.
Okay.
Another study says that Jurassic Park was very wrong, and that about the T-Rex. It can't stick its tongue out. And they marketed another movie with the tongue.
These aren't aces today, but all right, what do you got now?
They're not aces today. You're right. Elvis Presley, the last one. Elvis Presley's abandoned private jet is up for auction.
That's cool. I didn't read that.
Yeah. In
abandoned
Mexico.
Private jet, though. Abandoned may be the fulcrum to this whole thing. What does that mean? Was it abandoned when Elvis owned it? And you know what I mean? Or was it his and the King's and it was all done up with the fur and the whole bit? And
there were velvet seats. There's no engine in this plane, apparently, but there's velvet seats.
Well, that'll get you there on time. All right. Well, I have a couple things. This one's more of a confusing thing. I'm just going to put it out there because I don't understand it. The Hollywood Reporter today, they posted a 2-minute and 55-second clip of Beavis and Butthead from 1993 entitled "Customers Suck." They posted that at 9:35 a.m. It's just a clip. There's no editor. There's no
context given?
Nope. So it's like customers suck, and then this clip from 25 years ago. But 1993, so that's kind of appropriate. Thought I'd bring it up.
That's interesting, though.
Judd Apatow was interviewed as well in Vanity Fair. Roseanne Barr came up. He says he thinks she's crying out for help. Apparently, she blocked him on Twitter. He didn't know, but it was brought up, and apparently that was a thing. They used to work together. I believe Judd used to write on Roseanne at one point.
I'm super curious about that.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, I agree with him. I think that his point was that she's someone with very serious mental illnesses, and and this is known, and she's been talking about it for years.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds very similar to me as the Louis C.K. situation, because while whatever is inappropriate about the work stuff, whatever, take that out of it. We're just talking about the behavior, or the whatever. I'm getting sticky again. Anyway, he's always been saying he was doing that. All of his materials about that, every special, you've been listening it, you've been loving this guy. When it turns out that it's true, now you hate him. I don't know. I'm not on board. Same thing with Roseanne. I think that she's mentally she's got some issues and some control issues, some self-control issues, and mental issues. And I agree. I think she's got more problems than.
She's been pretty honest about that. She's come out and said that.
My point is, I still don't think she's a racist.
I
think she's
totally
failed as a public figure lately. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't actually think she's a racist. I think she's just fucked up, like the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, and not everyone knows. I make mistakes all the time.
All right.
It's different.
Another visual.
Oh, good.
A man named Popeye was captured. Stop looking ahead. A man named Popeye was captured after a mugshot showing his very memorable face tattoo goes viral.
Oh, no.
Has nothing to do with Popeye that I can see, but here he is. That's Hannibal Lecter, isn't it?
Oh,
isn't
my
it the Hannibal
God.
Lecter mask?
That's horrible.
Anyway.
That's a real person.
They picked him up.
That's horrible.
All good. Solved. All right, and Coco the Gorilla, you took care of that. Mrs. Ryan, that was awesome. Let's do a quick East Coast feed with our friend Steve Kaz, and then we'll take a break for Richard Chassler. All right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. East Coast feed. We love you, Steve Kaz. Oh, where did he go? Where is he? Steve Kaz. Hang on, where's his video? This is my fault. My fault, sorry. Here we go.
Mr. Ryan, Mrs. Ryan, Steve Kaz and the East Coast Feed with my nieces, calling from Central Park, as we do always. But today we have a special surprise. We have a special guest you haven't seen in quite some time, and here he is. Dude! Oh, snap. Tim's here. Who knew, right? And we dragged him all the way to Manhattan. Love you guys. Enjoy that LA weather. We got this New York City stuff happening tonight. It's fantastic. Later.
Such a goof. My favorite thing about him is, like, anyone in the world knows who Tim is, the guy who said, dude. You know what I mean? But he makes it as if, like, it's Jerry Seinfeld or somebody that everyone in the world would recognize. Hey, it's Kim Jong-un. You know him. Very weird. All right, Mrs. Ryan, let us take a break and bring in Richard Chassler, shall we?
Okie doke.
All right, be right back with more after this. That's it. We are back with Richard Chassler is
We're
here.
back.
How
It's
are
good
you?
to see you guys. I'm good. I'm good. It's wonderful to be back.
You're the first person you're a third time.
I'm the first third timer.
73rd episode. You are our first person who's been here 3 times.
I am about to become your Alec Baldwin.
Oh, is that right?
Well, Alec Baldwin's done
The
SNL
jacket.
more than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, that just happened then.
No, he's held that number.
No, I mean for you with us. It
Oh
just
yeah,
happened
so
then, 'cause
now
we've got
I'm
a
your
couple
Alec
doubles.
Baldwin. Absolutely, and you got the new set.
Can you believe it?
The
Is
new
it weird?
Letterman.
Lots happened since you've been gone.
You know how many celebrities have farted in this chair?
Yeah. Chris Farley.
Chris Farley is
Siskel and Ebert.
beefed in this chair. I'm sure he's beefed in this chair several times.
There's a clip. We're going to do that on that segment. But he was like tumbling over in the chairs and the whole. I've broken your equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, am I the first person to say that?
Say what?
You know how many celebrities have farted?
Oh
in these
yeah,
chairs?
for sure.
Okay.
The first one to bring it up.
Nice. I like the first segment, by the way. Very cool. Could you bring the first clip up again, by the way?
Absolutely. Let's see. This guy.
Yeah, I didn't know Roseanne Barr died today.
Oh.
You brought her up. I had to tag it. Fuck her. She should go away.
Oh yeah, is
Her
that
and
where
her
we
big
are?
Fat mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. And not just like the rest of us. I just had to correct you. When you go, well,
No, that's
she's
okay.
fucked up just like the rest of us. I am fucked up, but nothing like her.
Fair enough.
Let me be extremely clear about that. I am not included in the rest of us on that one.
Well, you are not afraid to share your opinions. Thank God. That's one of the reasons we love you and why you're here. What is your take on that whole shit show?
You just said it. She's a shit show.
Okay.
What else can you say? I mean, was she dropped on her head? Probably.
Yeah.
Is there chemical imbalances? Most definitely. Does she give a shit about it? Absolutely not.
That's where it gets
That's
tough.
where it gets tough because her narcissism goes in front of everything, and her ego is certainly driving this. You know, at no point is her team going, look, you know, you got to really shut up, because they're just glad to have Roseanne back, you know. So I'm sure they're shutting their mouths because she'll find, you know, look, if they don't, she'll get someone else who will. Right.
Yeah.
Someone will shut their mouth and take the money.
Yeah. It's a good point. Is that what it is?
Ask her.
It's part of
Is that what it is?
I think there's part of that. A couple of my friends were, like, on Facebook are like, I worked with her when she did the crotch grabbing.
Right.
And I was like, it's not a point of pride if you're shitting on it.
Exactly. That's
So,
exactly right.
fair.
It's one of those that
That's
I'm
exactly
torn.
right.
It's like, you didn't help either then.
You know,
That sucks.
I guess I just go out for whoever the fuck is like an underdog. You know what I mean? Whoever's hurting, I'm like, oh well, all right, let's pick it apart. I'm like at the
Totally.
bottom of it. I don't think she's a racist. Is she fucked up? I do think she's fucked up.
She's
Not like Richard Chassler, of course.
I think
Different.
in a different. Oh, I'm fucked up. I'm just saying I'm not fucked
We
up
all
like
are.
she's fucked up. She's a self-hating Jew.
Yeah. What about
Yeah.
you?
I'm a self-loving Jew.
Nice.
Kidding me? I'm proud to say that because I'm Jewish, Hollywood won't hire me.
Is that what it is?
Holy shit.
I have no idea. It's certainly not
Is
because
she
of.
born Jewish?
I believe she.
Or did she convert?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that question either.
I don't know.
Well, it might play in. I'm just wondering.
That's a good question.
Yeah, we used to know her son. We used to hang out with her
Can we
son.
get Chad to Google that? Will Chad Google that for us?
Yeah.
I have no. I'm pointing
I'm
at
out.
nobody,
I
and
was
I
like-
I just created a fictional PA.
There's a character, Chad. I like that he's
created
Chad, though.
A fictional
He'll be
PA.
hired.
Chad, can you go do that? Okay. Isn't that his name?
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson from SNL. Okay.
That's hilarious.
What the hell's going on with you, man? When we saw you last, the next day you flew out to go on tour. And are you just back? Are you fresh back?
I'm literally back like a week, like last week. Yeah, I'm back. I've been back like 10 days.
So you're like decompressing, kind of getting
It
back
takes
into.
me a while to decompress, believe it or not. And it's not the time change thing. Like, I can get over that pretty easy because I stay up late anyway, and so I don't really have that, oh, my body clock. That's not the issue. For me, it's like the lifestyle change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This particular tour was, as you know, I was out with,
We should mention, of
my
course.
amazing friend Nick Swardson, who did this 40-city tour. He's actually got about 3 or 4 more cities. Dallas, I think. Just Google Nick Swardson tour if you're a Nick Swardson fan, because I think he's got
Was
about
the Too Many
4
Smells? Is that what it was?
The Too Many Smells tour, yeah. And like part of it was driving and flying, and then we had a tour bus.
Oh, so you really did it all. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles tour.
PTA, yeah. And but the tour bus thing is a different kind of thing because you pull into hotels. A lot of people don't know this. You have times that you have to be in and out of that loading dock. So sometimes, like the tour bus out time is 4:30 a.m.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because all that stuff's scheduled differently than everything else.
Well, not just that, but it's partially your driving schedule. Partially, they need the loading dock for the next show coming in that night, which could be Britney Spears.
Right.
So, you know, you finish your show, you're done. Nick does a meet and greet. We go eat, whatever. Then if we're going to crash on the tour bus, we have hotel rooms, but we're going to crash on the tour bus. And then it's like 4:30 in the morning. It's like...
Yeah, you need the noise canceling headphones.
So, we had, I'm not going to kid you, it's pretty quiet on that thing.
Really?
In the sleeper bunks.
Was this like an actual motor coach, like one of those deluxe like a tour bus, right?
Yeah,
like a proper,
dude, this was like a major tour bus.
These things are like $2 million. I mean, it's a VIP experience. Yeah,
easy. You know, and they had like this particular one had 8 bunks instead of like 12 bunks. So usually they have 3 bunks with very little headroom kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this one had 2 bunks with really good headroom.
Business bunks. Nice.
Yeah. And business bunks. You know, and like you close the dark black curtain, which is like that thick.
So it is. You're pretty isolated.
Oh, yeah.
Sound-wise.
They give you like down pillows and these crazy blankets. Like I wish you could steal it.
Yeah, as you said, this doesn't sound too bad.
No.
It sounds like a pretty darn good experience.
At one point, one night, I was like, I'm not kidding you. The bunk in the tour bus was far more comfortable than the bed at the MGM Grand. You hear that, MGM? You hear do something about those beds. FYI.
All right, well, that was the tour bus. How'd the tour go?
The tour was great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the greatest fans in the world.
Is he still out?
He's out for a few more dates, yeah.
It's almost over.
Yeah, it's almost done. And, you know, he broke it up amongst a few friends.
You got to,
opening.
of course.
No, you don't. You got to give it all to Rich Chassler.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding.
That's how it's supposed to be.
I'm kidding.
Double bill that shit.
Yeah, exactly. Double bill that shit. Nick Swardson featuring.
I didn't go that far.
No, I'm just kidding. It was great fun. And the shows are amazing. And he's got the sickest fans. And, you know, we're playing in... I actually have a picture on the cell phone, if you want to see.
Sure, of course.
All right. I don't know if you can get it, but I have like 2 pictures because, I mean, you take a ton and then all of a sudden they go, oh, your cell phone has no more room on it. So, like, this is one shot.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Backstage.
Yeah.
I think we can do this here.
That's me working it. And I think
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's the
that's a great
Sands
shot.
In Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
There's a Sands?
Yeah, the Sands
Bethlehem?
in Bethlehem. Oh, it's beautiful.
This sounds like a setup for a joke. So I played the Sands in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think that might have been the Borgata in Jersey.
The Trop in Lancaster County.
Exactly. And then I think that's the Borgata.
Holy crap, this is cool.
Borgata is a big room.
Massive, yeah. We were playing.
Good job.
That's a big room.
Yeah, that's the guy setting the stage up.
Very cool.
Before the show. Yeah.
Then I'll just send my congrats to you face to face. That's like such an accomplishment. It's terrifying for most people to like walk on that stage, let alone talk to them.
Oh, so much fun you can't even imagine. It's like you can't wait. There's no like, oh my God, is it going to be? I'm kind of nervous. It's like I can't wait to get out there. Like I'm literally like, come on. Call 5 minutes, please. Call 5 minutes so I can pace backstage for 300 seconds.
Is that your process? Do you kind of just jam into it? You don't have like a whole, I'm meditating beforehand.
I meditate with a weed or vape pipe as close to stage time as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to work high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you bring a vape pen out? I know.
On stage?
Yeah.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
I like that's a hell of a segue.
Oh, what a good idea.
I'm not I didn't make it up.
Oh, who's doing it?
What do you got there?
Come on now.
I left it. It's in my dressing room.
That's so funny.
Chad.
I left it. Chad,
Chad, can you run and get Richard's vape pen?
Chad is now a regular. Chad's going to get more airtime than anybody.
I love it. We
I
got
can't
Hal,
wait.
Chad, producer Kate.
Yeah.
So you like to work high. I've heard this a
I
lot
do.
lately, and it's new to me because I feel like in the old days, didn't people not used to like to work high?
No, look, as Geechee Guy said backstage when we were about to when he was about to do Star Search one night, we were smoking a joint out back. And someone was like, Geech, you're going to get stoned right before, like, your 4th Star Search? And Geech is like, what? I wrote it when I was high.
Stay in the zone.
You know, I was like, well, all right, that's kind of brilliant. So
So that's your prep.
I've been doing it 32 years. You know, they used to be like, oh, you got to have that beer before you go on
Yeah.
stage. Loosen you up.
Loosen up.
Yeah, if you're funny, you're funny. You don't need a beer to be funny. You know, and that
Such
takes
good advice.
8 years to learn.
So that actually leads me to like a written question here. How did you know you were funny, and at what age? I hate to go all Larry King and shit, but like,
That's
I'm
a
curious.
good question.
I don't even know that I'm funny.
Okay.
That's
so you've got the confidence
producer
going for you, obviously.
Are we allowed to answer on the air? That's the guy who's
Sure.
producing this pilot
Please
that I
do.
want to talk
I'd
about.
love
and I
it.
just want to know.
Now we can know if we can talk about it.
You're on the air right now. I just have to let you know that.
Oh, so that's good.
Yeah, this is John Rizzo, ladies and
Hello,
gentlemen.
John Rizzo.
John used to run the Improv back in the 90s.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Hi, John.
John, you're on the air. Actually, you're
It's-
actually on the actual David Letterman set
That's right.
on what used to be Life with the Ryans.
Yep. It's tonight's show. Life
Now
with
it's
the
called
Ryans.
It's Tonight's Show. And they bought the old Letterman set. They're doing an awesome freaking vodcast. I am today's guest, and you are now on the show.
We had Carol Leifer yesterday,
And,
too.
and I'm your guest. That's fine.
And now you're my guest. So, John, when did you know that you were funny? I'm kidding.
Way to deflect.
Riz, I just have to ask you a quick question. Can we talk about the show, and what am I not allowed to say? Title?
No, I mean, I don't think there's any real restrictions. I mean,
All right.
anything that might indict you federally, I would avoid. Other than that, you can talk about it.
It's time to play What Part of the Country is John from?
Yeah.
It was so soothing, that accent. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, I know. It's, well pronounced, highly defined. Can I call you when I'm done?
Of course. Call me later. I'll be around.
All right.
Nice
All
to
right.
meet you.
Say goodbye to America.
Goodbye.
Thanks for being here, John. We loved having you. That was John Rizzo,
That was
ladies
John
and gentlemen.
Rizzo. John Rizzo.
Hilarious.
Gianluca Rizza.
Oh,
All right, so
Yeah, he's
you
born
got
in
an
Sicily.
okay to talk about something. We'll
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about it in a second, but
yeah.
when did you know you were funny? You're still not sure. The confidence is overwhelming.
I can say that I think at a young age I was always the class clown.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I was the firstborn middle child of 2 narcissistic parents.
The firstborn middle child.
No, the firstborn male child.
Oh, male child.
Male child
Okay.
of 2 narcissistic parents. So, Lord knows somebody had to pay attention to me. And I think I found an audience in school. And I think I was doing shows for kids in school, not trying to be funny. I never thought I was funny.
Really?
Yeah, I never really.
Just performing?
Yeah, I was doing
'Cause you act
plays.
too,
and
yeah.
yeah, I was doing plays and I was drumming, but I never really thought I was funny. Then I got a job when I was 14 at a restaurant in Sherman Oaks called the Wiener Factory. And it's no longer there, but it was there for a good long time. And it was the #1 hot dog stand in Los Angeles forever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a great segue for that other thing.
The guys there were all these like stoner, misplaced intelligentsia. It's like 1979. Skylab hadn't or just fallen. Like the Beatles weren't even broken up 10 years when I got this job. You know what I mean? Like
Second Beatles reference. Love it.
these guys were really, really funny. And they just created an atmosphere where you were doing a lot of improv at work. And I think it was there that I discovered that I could wrangle. I could wrangle
you could contain
the
an
funny.
audience. Yeah. Oh,
you know
the
what
funny
I mean?
itself.
Yeah, like you can organize.
So
the
you're
funny.
you're feeling it out like a kid, like figuring
Yeah,
stuff out.
I was an avid Saturday Night Live fanatic, and I had to work that Saturday night shift in high school. So every night we'd go to the manager's house, rip bong hits, and watch Saturday Night Live after we'd close.
Oh.
And the rule was that you had to keep smoking. If you decided you didn't want it to pass, you had to say, I declare I'm finished, and then you got no more pot for the night. So you just didn't stop smoking. You smoked until you couldn't see anymore. And we were watching, like, and this is 1979, 1980, you know, it's still original cast of Saturday Night Live,
Right.
you know.
Oh, my gosh.
So I guess that's the funny thing, sort of just, it kind of gravitated itself in and, you know.
But was there a feeling? All right, you saw that you could do it. You liked it on television. Did you feel something when you put it together and you were like, oh, there's a connection there and that's what I should do?
Yeah, I never wanted to do stand-up. Never, ever did I want to do stand-up. That was a total accident. Yeah,
Okay.
I got talked into doing it by the kid who played Skippy on Family Ties, Mark Price. We talked about
and I
this
remember,
I
that
remember
story
that.
for how that first started.
Yeah, that was an
When
accident.
you were working at
and-
the Paramount lot.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I wasn't waiting tables. I was telling jokes for $50 a night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I was on the road telling jokes for $100 a night. You know?
How did that process happen for you?
Some guy, a friend of mine, just offered to take me out as his opening act for 2 weeks through like Michigan and Indiana, and the booker got a good report. And
No
I
shit.
called the booker, and the booker gave me like 6 weeks. And then when I was done with those 6 weeks, the booker gave me like more time. Then I just started working for like 2 bookers, like 30 weeks,
Just
35
started
weeks
working
a
and that was
year.
it.
And I
That's
worked my way
great.
up from being an opening act to a middle or a feature act, and then eventually they tell you can't come back and feature because the headliners are working too hard. You got to come back and headline. So that's how it works.
Wow.
Nowadays, people think because there's a meme and everyone thinks they're.
Oh, it's your
headlining
favorite,
now.
the meme.
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
Yeah.
But.
All of the very qualified headliners out there right now. Is that what we're talking
yeah.
about?
You know, I'm telling you, I should just write a book called Headliners Only.
It's going
I
to be a
would
long
read it.
book, won't it?
I'm serious.
I would read it.
You would read it.
Totally.
I
It'd be
know.
great.
You mentioned a hot dog stand a minute ago, and
Yeah.
that makes me think of Pink's, and you brought something up right before we went on the air. It just came up.
Am I
it
really
came up
sitting on the
naturally.
Letterman set with my legs crossed, like thoroughly relaxed? I just
You
had
do
this,
seem very relaxed.
I just had this weird image of you going, folks, Paul, and I was like, this is so.
You are.
But wait, aren't they supposed to be double-ended with
Probably, yeah,
erasers?
yeah.
That was the thing with his
I
pencils. They
think
had
so, yeah.
erasers on both sides.
I think
I don't
so.
know.
Johnny was that way, so Dave
Oh,
probably
was
too.
it Johnny's pencils that had erasers on
His
both
work,
sides?
because he was a drummer.
Right, which I am too. You got another one?
I am too.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
why I use the broken ones.
Look,
over
he's
here.
actually got 2 pencils.
Yeah, you bet. That are the same length and already broken.
This is so. You two are really fucking weirdos, man.
Totally.
Totally.
I literally
know.
this morning I was like, "Oh, the Murph thing's about you. It's not him even." It's
Oh,
like,
why do you think I love you guys so much?
that makes me
So,
happy.
of course.
But I just realized that you. Yeah, I watched the Carol thing this morning. I couldn't sleep. I was so anxious about like how was I? Because I'm so not a person in front of cameras ever.
You were very self-conscious
I was
after.
incredibly self-conscious about it, but
Aw.
I forget what I was saying. I watched it back and I forget why I was telling you that.
Oh,
Nose?
that's okay.
I'm Jewish.
Oh, whatever. Oh, we did talk
What are you
about
gonna
that.
do? You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What
I want to get to
At
the
least my
story
tits
though.
aren't big.
We've hot dogs, Pink's hot dogs across the street from Pink's hot dogs.
Across the street from Pig's Hot Dogs.
Is it another early profession of yours?
Actually, nice research. It actually wasn't that early. Back in 2007, a couple of guys and I had the bright idea to open a medical marijuana dispensary. Like early on in the gold rush, man. Like,
you were just ahead.
oh, you joking? Like we were like way ahead of the folks running across this country
been
towards
meaning to say
Oklahoma.
that. Well, you were way ahead of the game.
Way, that's my life. Always ahead of the curve, never winning because there's, the timing. I'm always too early. That's about to change.
Yes.
Something else is going on too. But I opened a dispensary with a friend of mine down on Pico, and I'm not lying to you. One day he walks in, and we were just hanging out. Some customers came in. I was helping the customer. He was like elbowing to help. Like it was a weird thing. And afterwards, we went back into the office, and he looks at me and he goes, "Let me tell you something, man. There's only room for one rock star in this place, and that's me." And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like Like, it was so beyond my level of comprehension.
Well, that's
like,
not the attitude of a pot dispensary person.
or a friend or a partner or
Sure.
he's just
Can we at least have a discussion? Maybe have a compete? See who's going to be the rock star?
I would be very clear here. This is not the first time I have had that sort of thing happen with another male.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason, guys.
Is your dick really big?
Yeah, but that's not it.
Oh,
They
it's
don't
unrelated.
see it.
Unrelated, I see.
They don't see it. It's just like,
It's all how you carry yourself.
yeah, I don't wear underwear. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. But the point is that was that. No, I don't
Here's the
care.
thing.
Like I said, it's,
Me neither. So it was there
I'll
was a
say it
sword
on
fighting joke I was
stage.
trying to shelf and not let out.
I'll say it on stage if it's, you know, I mean, it took me years to get to that point where I could bring the truth on stage unabashedly and unapologetically with no problem whatsoever. And that was my Achilles heel as a stand-up for at least my first 15 years.
You mentioned that once. Was that when you figured out the
Yeah,
mic
that was
thing?
the night I stopped grabbing the mic out of the stand.
Yeah, and it changed everything
Changed
for you.
everything for me, yeah.
Wow.
So now, and it really changed everything in my life, believe it or not. It just made it easier to just,
Be yourself.
yeah, just, if you're scared to look in the mirror, man, like, you're never going to fix anything, and you're never
for
going to
you.
change, and you're never going to talk quieter or be more gentle or generous or whatever.
Good for
You
you.
won't find your edge, you know.
All right, so one rock star.
So I left. Yeah, I left the dispensary and opened another one across the street from Pink's on La Brea called Grateful Meds.
Grateful Meds.
Grateful Meds, and it was
perhaps the best.
all Grateful Dead themed dispensary. And I wish we had actually done this in the pre-show. I would have gotten pictures to you. And it had San Francisco rock art all over the wall.
Send it to me afterwards. I'll put it in.
And we had ticket stubs lacquered to the custom-made 16-foot bar. We played live bootleg music the whole
that
time.
sounds so cool.
It was, yeah, there was like a sitting area with games and guitar and beads, and it was
It's
like,
just a hang.
That sounds like the coolest combination of factors. Like
it
right across
was
Pink's
yeah.
is legendary. I've actually never eaten there, but it's
Never had it either.
legendary.
Shitty
And
food.
I've never had it either.
I've heard that,
It's
so it's
terrible.
like
Not a good hot dog.
that's such a bummer.
Great tourist spot, not a good hot dog.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all the people in line must have just like stared at your place and been like, "That's where we're going."
Well, back in
There's
2008,
clearly a
when
connection,
we were
right? I mean-
open, I was not a Green Cross guy. The name of the place was Grateful Meds, and we had like this beautiful oak tree and this really cool logo. But you might have known what it was. You might not have known what it was. You know what I mean? We didn't give it away with poppies.
It wasn't straight up. Yeah, buy your green here.
No.
Right.
no, but the whole point is if you're in the know, you're in the know.
Yeah, but back then Bush was president. I mean, seriously, we opened when Bush was president, and they were
Bush,
still
the second one.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
were raiding dispensaries and the whole feds thing, and yeah, it was.
Yeah, you were really that's bucking the system then.
I was early on. I was
That's
one
what
of
you
the
do.
original 138 dispensaries in the city.
Is that right? That pre-whatever?
Pre-ICO.
ICO? Is that what
ICO, whatever it stands for, couldn't tell you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, the-
Incoming cannabis order. I
There
don't
we go.
know. I have no fucking clue.
here's another James Lipton type. Who has helped you the most along your journey? Has anyone helped you at all along your journey?
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't need to be one person. It's just however you
there
feel.
are people who have stepped up for me. You know, Hedberg was certainly one of them.
Wow, I forgot. Yeah, it was your best friend, right?
Mitch certainly was a guy who, you know, gave you work, you know. Swardson now, you know,
Yeah.
stepping up. John Rizza, the guy on the phone, just hired me.
Can we talk about this new
Yeah,
project?
he
Okay,
said, go ahead.
All right,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
hear it.
yeah.
All right, so
that's
what do you-
why he called.
So what are you working on now?
So Rizza has a guy who just stepped up for me, Jeremy Hotz. You know Jeremy?
Why do I? I do. I know that name.
He's been with Jodie Lieberman for 100 years.
Okay.
He's Canadian. He's a big star in Canada. And we just wrote and developed a TV show that we think is going to sell.
Who
You know,
knows?
there's guys who just recognize things in you and say, I want to work with you, you know, I think is what it is. But none of my fucking friends who have produced or had anything on the air have said, yo, including that Mark Price guy.
Skippy from
Let's
Family
be
Ties.
clear about that. Yeah, including that Mark Price guy. Yeah, who I had problems with. I'm like moving in.
I like
I
it.
know.
Everything but your vape pen. You want to go get it? You need to settle down. Here, you guys chat it out.
No, there are people who he's really gonna go get that.
I'm gonna go get it.
There's
I feel
full
like now
service,
you-
man.
Has anybody vaped on the show yet?
Other than me, I don't know, but probably.
Is it right up there? No, right there by my hat.
I think you brought it with you.
That'd be funny if I
I think
did.
it's with you. There you go.
Look at that. Good work, Chad. He's good. That guy's
Chad's
fast.
awesome.
Chad
was
is the
good.
best.
I had to show him where a couple things
Chad
were,
is the
but
best.
that's
Did
why
you
I
steal
had to
him
get,
from
that's
The
why
View?
that's why I had to get up. That's where we got
You
him.
stole
The
him from The View,
How
right?
did you know
I
that?
think I recognized
Did you
him
do The View?
when I didn't do it.
Oh.
Yeah, I recognize him from when I didn't do it.
Yes, you're moving in, and Mark Price, and blah blah blah. But the show you're working on
I
now.
have been cast as the narrator voice of a new TV pilot that is probably going to explode like the next Duck Dynasty.
Really?
No kidding.
So it's a reality show.
It's a
then it's not
reality
scripted. Okay.
show about a family.
So you're going to be more Mike Rowe than Ron Howard for Arrested Development. It's more of a reality type, and you're just.
It's not scripted reality. It's a reality show, just like any reality show you watch on Discovery Channel or whatever.
Okay.
And
There you go.
the name of the show is Kosher Kush.
Wow.
It's
Nice.
It's about an.
I made sure to give you a tight.
It's about an Orthodox Jewish family who moved to Florida, then migrated to Northern California, and opened one of the biggest grows up north, and owned the name and the strain Kosher Kush.
Wow. Like trademarked.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's their strain, and they're observant Orthodox Jews.
Yeah,
They go to
so-
shul on Friday nights. They don't work on the Sabbath, and but they're. And
This
there's
sounds
a
amazing.
rabbi who blesses
can't
and
wait.
koshers the.
Is it a
What?
family you said,
It's
or
a
is
family.
it? Oh wow.
It's a family-owned operation, and then there's other people, obviously. And I'm the guy that's like, back in the greenhouse, Jane and Bob are arguing over why Bob didn't pull his fair share of the weight.
Did you say where they are
I'm that
located?
guy.
You said where?
NorCal.
Florida.
Northern
Oh, Northern Cal
California.
now, yeah,
And
okay.
we go up next week to shoot. My buddy John Rizzo, who used to run the Improv,
Nice.
Wow.
called me and said, "I'm doing this show. We got a budget. We're greenlit, and I want you to do the voiceover."
That's killer.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, and it was like that.
Good for you.
That's killer.
Well, that
Yeah.
question was wonderfully tied in then.
Yeah. So we drive up next week. I'm looking forward to all the samples. And
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
is that like being like if you're an auto reviewer, you get on this like press car list and you get all the free shit?
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
they
no,
send you, what do you want? Whatever.
absolutely. Are you
So
joking?
you just now are on the list where people give you samples and everything?
do you understand the fact that I'm going to be the voice of Kosher Kush? If the show goes... Now, it's being done by a network called JLTV. No? Jewish Life Television.
Stop.
50 million households
I bet.
nationwide on cable. Their cable network. They're about to double to like 95. John did a thing. He's like, my buddy's now like second in command of this network. He's
That's
doing a deal with other
killer.
networks. They're
No
about to go to
kidding.
95 million households nationwide.
That's incredible.
Right. And so we'll see what happens, but I'll be the voice of Kosher Kush.
Kosher Kush.
Right. That means like I might, if it gets as big as Duck Dynasty, that means like I'll be like emceeing and hosting like, weed fests nationwide, which means I'll be able to do my stand up everywhere.
I'm really blown away. I'm so excited for you. There's
it's
so
a
much.
wonderful
There's so
opportunity.
much
Right
stuff
there.
that could happen with this. Right. Ready to come out of retirement?
For that, yeah.
There's a couple
For you and that, yeah.
Okay.
I'll think of it.
So, yeah, and we shoot that next week, and it's going to be on JLTV.
You're beaming. Like, you're excited about this.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited about
Your
it because
face
there's
changed.
tons of possibilities with it.
for
you know?
Good for you for thinking that way, too.
Yeah, and I don't. I get to do some writing and some field producing while we're shooting, which is fun. I get to be creative in that respect as well.
Oh, that's nice, too. So you'll
And-
actually have a hand in the product.
Oh, I'll get to put two people who hate each other in the same room and say, "Go."
Oh, my
Do
goodness.
potheads really fight like that, though? They're probably just like, eh.
It's a funny thing. You think, yeah, I'm a pothead, I'm not going to fight. But then you're at work. And the stakes change.
Yeah, that's different,
I
I
want to get
bet.
out of here early. Come on, man, pick it up.
You just sounded like Cass. East
We only have
Coast
enough room for one single cowboy in this place, and I'm it.
Trying to get the hell out of here. Come on, man, we got to do 50 bales.
Oh my god.
Springsteen's playing tonight in San Francisco. 80 miles. Let's go, Jack.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
Who is your favorite comedian of all time? And it doesn't need to be one.
my favorite comedian of all time.
There's a follow-up to this too, but I'd like to start there.
Probably Richard Chassler. No, I'm kidding.
Not a fan of his work.
I would say that it's the top. It's got to be like the Mount Rushmore of stand-ups.
The usuals.
Carlin, Pryor, Lenny.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The truth tellers. That's the thing for me. When people like start naming like, I don't like pop music and I don't like bubblegum music. I'm not an A-side guy. I'm a B-side guy. Always have been. Mm-hmm. The B-sides are always better than the A-sides, And yeah, so I never like those.
You get deeper. The masses can't necessarily cut through on the A-side, and then the B-side tends to go a little deeper.
The stakes are higher. The stakes are higher when you're a truth teller. The stakes are higher for the B-side song.
Interesting. To live up to the A.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you need that second hit. That B-side has to perform.
Wow.
It's the underdog.
That's cool.
That's true.
All right, so then who are the underdogs? What are
like
underdog guys? Maybe who didn't make it, maybe those who did. I don't know, but somebody you really liked.
There was a comedian I thought was really funny named Steve O. He's the first guy to ever take me on the road.
Okay.
Not Steve
Not
O,
the jackass guy.
fucking
Okay.
jackass.
Is it Asian, like OH?
No, Steve O. He's actually Jew. His last name is Winehouse.
Okay.
And
but his middle name is Oliver, and he's Steve O.
He was working under the name Steve O. Period.
Okay.
And Steve was supremely funny. And he got me into Lenny. I met him when I was 20 or
Whoa.
21. He got me into Lenny. He got me wanting to be an honest comic.
Interesting.
Although it was extremely difficult for me for years because, you work out of fear and you don't know how to do it and getting it,
We're figuring that out daily. You've been performing for 30 years. We've been doing it for like 3 months. It's weird as fuck doing this shit.
You want to switch seats one day?
Sure. Absolutely. Can you do all that stuff too?
Yeah, absolutely.
I could probably turn that around and do it from there.
Absolutely. So I like those guys,
Who do you watch
Rock.
now?
I watch
Yeah,
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I watch Dave Chappelle. I like Jeff Ross. I like
Jeff Ross.
I really like let's see. I'm selective, I guess. Kindler.
Okay.
Kindler's always funny to me, no
just
matter
watched
what.
him on something last night.
Yeah.
He was in something.
Kindler is always
Oh, I'm
funny
dying
to
up
me. He's great. Overton.
Okay.
Well,
Rick Overton.
Do I
Rick
know him?
Overton is a dear friend. And
Is he really? Oh, I'm a big fan of his too.
And
from way
he
back.
was a massive inspiration to me.
No
Rick
kidding.
Overton helped me as a stand-up in my developmental years, possibly more than anybody.
No shit.
Absolutely.
Really?
He's somebody
down.
I never knew his work, and then I was watching that fucking. You probably know.
I'm
You were
dying
probably
up
on
here.
it. No. That Paul Provenza show from like 10 years ago. Green Room.
Yeah.
And he was on that or in the audience or something like that. And that's when I first became aware of him and then started Googling like this guy. And I was like, holy shit, he's funny as fuck.
Overton's a massive thinker.
Well, that may be why I like him.
And
Really?
I was attracted to him immediately. The first time I met him, we got into some conversation at the Improv. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Love those.
that was that. Yeah.
You guys,
And
the best conversations are those ones in the hallways where you run into the guy that's going up 3 down from you, and like, if you happen to be lucky enough to be a fly on the wall there,
oh yeah.
it's the greatest.
If we ever get him on, would you come in and watch and, back and forth?
Overton?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not only was he an inspiration to me and a real mentor to me as a stand-up, but for many years in the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, Rick would close the Friday and Saturday night shows at Melrose, at the Melrose
No
Improv.
kidding.
And he would do about 8 minutes of stand-up, and then it turned into Rick Overton and Friends, and he would bring about 6 or 8 of us up to do short-form improv.
Whoa.
And so this went on
What
for
a treat.
years. So yeah, like
Must have been so fun for you, though, too.
oh yeah, I'm working with like Gary Anthony Williams and Rick
Oh, we love
and
him.
and Catherine Michon, who's a great director now. She did Muffin Top. If you haven't seen it, go
Nope.
look. Phenomenal movie.
Okay.
And she directs from a real female point of view, which I love, because men skew out so much femininity in their masculinity that you don't very often get a full feed from male directors.
I love you for seeing that, let alone saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for real.
Aren't artists supposed to say these things?
Yeah, and supposed to see them, but it doesn't always happen, especially these days. I really like everything.
Tell me I wouldn't be like the best client to represent, right?
Depends on what you're looking at.
I'm looking at, there you go.
We'll talk about it. It's different. That's my point. Like, it's always different and everything's so unique. So you have such a cool opportunity in front of you. You need someone who can think in a way that will exercise that opportunity for you.
I think this show has a real chance of going. I really do.
Yeah,
and it's got a great cast of characters. The father and the kids and the rabbi. There's a rabbi.
You said someone blesses.
Yeah, the rabbi. And they go to shul on Friday nights, and the rabbi said we can shoot the Shabbat service and the Shabbat dinner.
So they actually bless the kush? Is that what they're blessing?
There's no question about it. The rabbi is coming in and blessing the grows.
No kidding.
To. Absolutely. And everything going into the grow has to be kosher.
I wonder if people know that, because that may be, that may be their leg up right there.
Right. So I don't know what they're using. I don't know what kind of mulch or whatever they're, they're growing organic. They're totally growing all organic.
Outside probably too, I would imagine.
I don't know the answer to that. Okay. I haven't been there yet, but
can't wait to hear once you've shot this thing and come back to tell us about it.
Oh my goodness gracious! I cannot wait. I'll text you while I'm up there. Pictures. I'll be Instagramming the crap out of it.
Cool.
I'll tell you that much.
That's awesome. Everyone should look at that.
So everyone follows you on Instagram at
Richard Chassler.
Pretty easy. What else? Twitter?
At Richard Chassler.
Anything else? I'm not trying to wrap you up. I'm just like anything else where people can find you.
No, my website is richardchassler.com. It's all very easy.
Very creative.
I figured it was a pretty easy brand. I didn't need to be like, haha, funny New Yorker.
There's so many of those, though. It's on the business card.
Yeah, but it's also very difficult to remember. Just remember my name. I'm easy to find. Google me. It's easy.
One brand.
Richard Chassler. One brand.
That's where you're great.
Until my publicist tells me let's do it differently, then that's the best I got.
Who's your favorite comedian currently? Other than Richard Chassler.
Other than Chris Rock?
Is it Chris Rock?
Swardson makes me laugh in his craziness. I mean, Nick will be the first one to tell you, look, I'm not, making people think. I'm doing, diarrhea and fart jokes. But his delivery and his stories, his show right now is about an hour and 15, hour and 20 of some of the funniest freaking stories I've ever heard. They're all true. And Nick has a way of delivering them that you just... it's side-splittingly funny. Nick is really, I don't always watch people I work with, especially the openers, but when I get off stage, I will watch Nick's shows from backstage. I'll stand in the wing and watch the show.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh. It's just, actually, first I'll go outside and smoke, and then I'll come back in and watch it.
You got to freshen up first.
Well, whatever I smoked before I went on stage, the 20 I'm doing in front of him, your adrenaline is...
It'll knock it right out of your system.
Done. Are you kidding? I just feel like I got out of like 4 years of AA meetings. You know what I mean? It's like.
Is there anybody younger or newer maybe that you like?
Yeah, there's some young funny guys that I think are coming up. Keith Carey is a funny kid, and I see him a lot. He's associated with the Roast Battle guys. Alex Hooper is one of my favorite. I say up-and-comers. When I say that, I mean guys who haven't been doing it 15, 20 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're still getting a foothold, and, I think Alex is very funny. In fact, he just did an AGT.
Oh, yeah?
That got 1 million. His thing went viral. Well, he came out in a cat outfit, did this insanely provocative character, and then roasted. Because he's a roast comic, he roasted all 4 of the judges.
Oh, brilliant.
Or all 3. I don't know how many.
Obviously, this is all over YouTube. We can find this.
Oh, it's all over YouTube. It's gotten over 1 million hits.
Outstanding.
And Alex was outstanding, and he roasted all of them. And everybody said no but Simon. Simon went, I actually think he's funny. I say yes.
Awesome.
That's funny.
In a cat outfit.
That's funny. Is it Simon Cowell?
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit. He's on that now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know.
So I think Alex is funny.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Jackie Gold is funny.
Who?
Jackie Gold. She's an upcoming female comic. I think she's funny.
Where does she play?
She works at the Improv. You can see her at the Improv a lot. She hasn't done any TV yet.
Okay.
You know, but Jackie's funny. She opens for me. In fact, she'll be opening for me in Baja, Mexico in July.
This leads me to my next question. Would you maybe help us with getting some up-and-comers? I would like to let... It's not like this is network television or anything like that, but this is a talk show experience for people.
Let's talk about it off the air. But yes, certainly.
Cool. I talked to Stacey about that too. She's doing some work.
Yeah. I can totally help you guys.
Cool.
Just,
you know what I mean? Like people who aren't... You get it. You get it. You get what I want to do to help.
I know what you really want to do, and I can do that for you.
To help, yeah.
Sure.
It's not for me, though. It's more for... It's like this... We have this thing. It's to try to help... Just in general, give other people fun experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like a late night play set. You know what I mean? Like it's a joke of a whole thing that we're doing. The whole thing is tongue in cheek.
The whole thing's tongue in cheek. If you don't get that, if you walk in here literally thinking like, oh my God, these guys,
is serious. This is
like,
serious.
They really think like they're gonna do like a Letterman thing. And if you don't get the joke, like you don't belong on this show.
Thank God you're here.
That's the truth.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Know? I mean, really.
So then you get it. I mean, it's just a
No, I got it when you told me about it.
Cool.
Are you kidding? I thought it was
it's somehow the
hilarious.
most awkward thing for people to just sit and have a conversation. Like they'd rather be interviewed and be like, "What are you going to ask me?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't seen you in 5 years.
Right.
I'd love to know what's up. Like, I'm just super curious about us and like what's going on." So it's really it's fun to talk to people that don't come in with an agenda other than like learning about us and them and having that conversation.
The experience, knowing what you're about to do, changes the... am I different now on this show than I was on the other two? Mm-hmm. Because you are... I'm going to teach you guys something right now that people love to argue about, but this is the whole acting conversation right now, okay? You are affected from the outside in, not from the inside out, okay? What you're wearing has an effect on how you sit, walk, hold yourself. A piece of jewelry will have an affect to a memory while you're talking to somebody that someone gave you, and it might cause you to think and disconnect from the conversation for a second. We live from the outside in. And the whole acting thing about Strasberg and Stella Adler and method acting and the break in the group theater and, De Niro as opposed to Pacino and what was right. Stella was the one who said that we live and work from the outside in. And Strasberg was no, it all happens inside first, and go back to a memory when your cat died and that'll make you cry. And Stella's like, no, if you're not affected by what's happening, then don't force yourself to cry. It was more honest. It was more truthful. It was my training. I left Strasberg to go to that. And just this is a direct example of how you are literally... the affectation changes,
Yeah.
Because of that surrounding.
So all of a sudden, like you probably, I would imagine, had thoughts of your head of, oh, I've been on Letterman, I'm in my, in your head or whatever all your life, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, you know how to act here.
Right. There's a
You're in your setting.
The two chairs and the desk create a different way that your body is going to react to the set. Mm-hmm. So you're going to hold yourself differently.
But you are ridiculously more comfortable today. Or you come across as ridiculously more comfortable today.
Yeah.
No?
I think so.
No, you feel it too. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I think I am. I'm not wearing the headphones for a reason too. And I think that also has, like not holding the microphone.
Mm-hmm. You can be you.
Consciously, but causes me also to not get excited.
Really?
Or as excited.
I love that those weird things. Those are all the things I'm like learning for the first time. Like, that's crazy. Let me tell everyone about it. It's like, no, those are just like
These
skills.
are the things that years of doing it, you learn. There's like the tricks, like when you're working here and the camera's there and the red light goes on, you don't turn to see the red light. You know the light is on.
I would totally look at the light.
Works here. Right. It's those little things that you just learn as time goes on.
I learned how to put on a lot of makeup. And wow, did that not benefit me in any way?
You don't even need makeup. Makeup's for ugly people.
Thank you.
You don't wear anything now, do you?
That's what I'm
I was
saying.
gonna say you haven't worn makeup
powder,
in forever, yeah.
because I
Makeup's
get
for ugly
sweaty.
people.
Thanks.
And it's always hot when a hot girl goes, I get sweaty. I mean, I'm sorry. I know she's your wife and all, but really, let's.
Well, you knew her first, I guess.
I
so.
certainly did. So how sweaty? You had Carol Leifer on the show.
I really.
Was that the biggest name to date?
It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, it depends on the circle. I mean, because there's some Porsche people, like car people, that are fucking huge.
Well, unless you
But
had
for me, yes,
a member of
like,
the
hands
Porsche
down.
family,
We've
then they don't. Then
I would agree. On our personal list, yeah.
give me your top 5 guests to date that are. When I say top 5, means something to you.
Well, you've been here
those
3
people.
times, obviously, so that's 3 right there, right?
Wow.
Counting today.
I like that.
I know that I thought I would be nervous, and then it was like fine and comfortable, and then somewhere in the middle it became not again.
Right.
It was like I got a handle on the situation, and then at some point I just lost it, and it was like I'm sitting here talking to Carol Leifer in my dining room
Right.
on my little Mickey Mouse show. And it was a really crazy moment for me.
And
I think the high school kid came back for a second. Was like, wait, I'm at Letterman's desk. She's actually sat there before. Who am I? Why am I sitting here? I shouldn't be here.
Well, you're there. Did you used to rep Carol? Is that how that came to be?
No, I never had any dealings with her, and I was around a lot of people at the time that actively didn't work with women.
Right.
So there was no women in my purview, like professionally, and so unfortunately she fell into that category. But once I was able to drop all of that nonsense after I got so sick, and I was like, whoever wants to come to my house and talk to me and give me the advice I'm seeking would be great. And so that's what this is about. But
Can I answer?
Did she
Are you
reach
there?
out?
Yes,
That's fantastic.
We did an episode
Sorry,
where we
yeah.
talked about her, and that's okay. Don't worry about it.
And she saw it?
Nicole tagged her in the post on Facebook, and a couple days later, Carol said, I watched the podcast. I loved it. When are you going to have me on? They started conversing, and Carol came and did the show.
You now get everybody. You got to start doing that with every person we talk about, and you need your podcast has to have, as already, you'll get everybody you want now. Anybody you want, you can get. Carol Leifer's done your show. There's your 10-pound or 900-pound gorilla.
Honestly, I think there was what we were both feeling.
Congratulations.
There was some weight. There was some weight to
That's
it. Thank
so.
you.
There's real weight.
It felt amazing.
There's real weight to Carol Leifer. Are you joking?
Oh, she's incredible.
I don't literally mean weight to Carol
We're
Leifer.
We're still stuck in the I wish I hadn't said that phase. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Why? Did she have fun?
I hope so.
Did you look at it? Does
Yeah.
it look great?
Yeah. It's
Did you
amazing.
go at any point?
Yes, over and over. But
No.
that's ourselves. You know what I mean? We're not used to. We don't watch the shows back regularly. It's only to learn stuff, and I learned a lot by watching that episode back. So you know what I mean? It served a purpose.
No more
and
pining.
hopefully one day there will be, like I said, a story in your books about it.
No more pining.
More pining.
No more pining. You're an equal. You're here. You're in the game. You're part of the party.
It means a lot, and I'm not. Yeah, I got to get there. Thank you
You're
for
part
that.
of the party. I mean, in fact, you're kind of hosting the party, so you can't
still
really
feel like the uninvited
you can't
guest.
really be. But not only are you not the uninvited guest, you're the guy the guests are looking at to make sure the bowls are filled with chips and shit. So you can't really just be doing nothing but glomming onto the guests. You got to make sure.
But that's
that
what happened for a couple minutes here and there. It totally happened.
Understood. So it's okay,
Yeah, learning.
There was a minute though, and I watched it to see it on the camera. She didn't realize this was the real set until
I think she thought
halfway
it was
through.
all
She thought it
mock.
was a replica, and so when she was like, "No, this is the real one," Jay said
She
something
said
like,
something
"You
about-
sat there," and she was like, "What?" Like it was a
To have the
weird
moment captured of like, wait, it's the real stuff. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I
There are a million cool moments in like an hour and 15 minutes. You know what I mean? It's one of those. There's uncomfortable stuff for us, but the fact that Carol Leifer was here to answer your question
the best
blew
thing.
our minds.
Yeah, that's fantastic, but it's like the greatest thing to happen to your company. Page 6 just took a picture of her eating in your brand new restaurant. Like that's what happened.
Wow.
And now people are going to come and you'll get more celebrities in your restaurant because one was there.
Well, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interesting people flock together. So
Yeah,
super
I'm telling you,
excited.
the freaks find the freaks.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm a deadhead. What can I tell you? I know where my freaks are.
Do you have anything else for us? I have one more question, and then we should probably wrap it up.
I don't know. What did we talk about or didn't we talk about?
We talked about everything and nothing, and I'm good with that.
Okay. Anything you wanted to cover that was in the notes?
There's one thing, because you've mentioned it twice, and I just want to do this because we're going to watch it afterwards.
Sure.
There's a short film that you are not only are in, but you directed as well. Did you write it as well?
I did write it.
So it's not new. It's been out for a while. It's on YouTube. What's it called? Where can they find it?
The name of the film is Stop, and it is not a comedy. I have to tell you going in, because some people want to go, dude, that was not funny at all.
You're like the worst comedian ever.
Like that, if that's your sense of humor, man, like you gotta check yourself, like into an institution. It's a heavy-duty drama about a guy who runs a stop sign and gets pulled over by a cop who recognizes him as the bully from school. And it kind of turns south from there.
I can't wait to watch it. How did you come up with this? Is it real life? Where'd you come up with it?
Well, interesting story. I had a friend, the guy who plays the cop was a friend of mine for a long time. We're not friends anymore. In fact, the movie ruined our friendship.
That'll happen.
Yeah, that'll happen. He wasn't expecting what happened to happen. Oh. And I'll get to that. Okay. We came up with an idea. His brother was a fugitive weed dealer living in Canada. And he was one of the biggest, weed guys in Canada. Maybe I shouldn't have said this. Oh, well. Anyway, he was supposed to give us the 50 G's to make the short, but it never came through. I wound up moving to New York. I came back. I was writing for Paul Abdul. While I was working for Paul Abdul, my ex-fiance's friend was seeing me work one day. He was really impressed by my work and said, I'll read your script. And he read it and offered me 25 of the 50 G's.
That's awesome.
Then I went to somebody else and said, I got 25. I need 25. Can we make...
Oh, you leverage, man. I see.
So I got 50. And I made the movie for 37 and change. Yeah, baby. And a day ahead of schedule. And it's about revenge, and it's gnarly, and it's Tarantino-esque, and it's hard to watch. And
Stop. It's on YouTube. Is it on your channel?
It's also on my website, richardchassler.com.
Okay.
You can go there and watch it.
That's
and
perfect.
It's 34 minutes of intensity. And, you asked me a question. It's about bullying, which is a real important topic.
Huge.
And I wrote the movie. John and I came up with the idea. Let's make a movie about... We had a bunch of ideas. We batted around, and then we came up with this idea. I wrote the script on my own. He did not have any hand in writing the script. And I wrote the script never thinking that I was a bully. When I was in high school, I was president of the speech club, and I was in drama, and I played on the tennis team, and I was a big stoner, and, I was going to dead shows even in high school, and I was never a bully. And it never occurred to me until after the movie was made and after it went to a couple of festivals and I started discussing it on a more intellectual level that it occurred to me that I was bullied.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about that when I was making the movie, why bullying even came up.
It wasn't the trigger. It wasn't your thing that you were fighting.
No, we just came up with the idea to make this movie. And then I guess somehow, unconsciously maybe, subconsciously, probably unconsciously, while I was writing it, I was probably associating with certain things maybe, But I was bullied as a kid by my dad. But I never thought about that when I was,
I think it's one of those things when you zoom out and forget. I don't want to get into this for too long, but there's a conversation to be had about bullying for sure. Yeah, when you zoom out, I think we all have been bullied and are bullies. Do you know what I'm saying? I think everybody is both in some way. I was the kid who was bullied because I'm fucking weird. You know what I mean? I wasn't a sports guy. Right. I was a music guy, and I like comedy and Letterman and weird shit. Right. Stuff that was just whatever, not the norm. And I find that later in life, after being bullied, whatever it is, later in life, looking back, not certainly at the time I realized none of this, but when I was trying to learn comedy at an early age, I would use everyone around me, everyone around me, whether it was a boss or a friend or whatever, a teacher, doesn't matter. They didn't ask to be my audience. They didn't ask to be my patron. They didn't ask to be my subject matter for my comedy or whatever I'm figuring out. But you know what I mean? Something happened at one point. I made somebody laugh. Somebody else was obviously the foot of that, the brunt of that joke. And you know what I mean? There's a version of, I think I was comedy bullying people without even realizing it, because nobody was, I wasn't a comedian. I was just a person who was being a dick.
But there's really two sides to that. Were you an angry kid?
Yeah.
You were an angry.
Well, I was. I didn't realize it until much later.
But but the conversation is, when you look back at it,
100%. My dad died when I was young. My parents were disaster.
So you were an angry kid, and somehow you figured out that you could punch that heavy bag.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Through jokes.
You got it.
And that's what I do.
Yep.
And
no, yep.
Right. So because of that your outlet for being angry was lashing out at other people
and laughing 2 seconds later,
shrouding it in, that comedy thing.
Passive aggression, right?
Yeah, it's totally passive aggressive.
Yeah, and
it's not really bullying. It really isn't. Okay,
because it's not intended.
Well, it's not intended, and you're not. It's really crying out for help, more so than bullying. If you really want to know the truth.
Is that what a therapist would say? I mean, that's what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't have a license, but I do know human
behavior.
Right.
Sounds right.
That's, I studied human behavior with Stella, and to me, that behavior is not, unless you, like, I was a bully when I was a kid because I was mirroring behavior. Yeah. So I used to punch my brother. Okay? That's bullying.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's different.
Okay.
Because the intent is different. My intent was to dominate and to, possibly inflict pain. Your intention was not. Your intention was for somebody to hear you, that you had stuff that nobody knew about.
You're exactly right. But what I realized looking back at it is it also appears as though I'm trying to psychologically or intellectually one-up somebody or get up on top of them and demean them, which was never my intention. And I'm not saying anything specific. I can't even remember any specific thing that ever happened. But I've gotten incredibly mindful about myself and the person I am today and who I was, et cetera, as one does when they get older. And that's one of the things I've looked at, and it leads me to my last question for you.
Okay.
And this is where I get a little bit vulnerable. No, do you
have James Lipton of you?
Do you have any advice for someone who loves comedy but has never pursued it?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, I'm talking about me.
Unless you can't sleep, unless it eats at your bones every day.
Well, but it has been for all these years, and I repressed it. You know why? You know the story.
Do I?
Yeah.
Did you tell me?
Yeah, we can't talk about it here. But
okay.
It's a big one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, really, the truth is, I tell people this because comedy is, look, I'm an actor, and I started acting with Stella Adler, and you can watch my work. It's all over the internet. I have been playing drums since I'm 6.5, almost 7 years old, okay? And I've toured with bands that played halls that sold 1,000 tickets a show.
Sure.
I can write, and I wrote the movie, and I've directed plays, and I directed 2 films, and I can sing, and I do stand-up comedy, and of all the art forms I do proficiently that I'm really actually good at, that I could be hired to do, I will tell you comedy is by far the single hardest thing to master, the most intricate, it's the hardest because I think it's 3 art forms rolled into one. You have to be a brilliant writer, then you have to be a brilliant performer, then you have to be a brilliant director.
Because you're directing yourself.
Because you got to stage your act. So you have to be great at all 3 of those things to be great at one.
Yeah, I throw editor in there too at the same time. Then is that with directing?
No, that happens in your. That's in your writing. That comes in your writing, and that makes in sense. The working. But you got to be a great writer, a great performer, and a great director in order to be a great.
So you have to be a triple threat. Literally, you have to be a triple threat.
You really do. And if you're not, I'm telling you, you'll wind up just being that guy who they go, "Wow, he's a really good writer," and they'll hire you for a show.
Yeah.
And you'll be Joey Gutierrez, who made millions of dollars on Drew Carey. But he started as a stand-up, and he was a great writer. But, you can be one of 1,000 guys if there's nothing cooking you. You know what I mean? And so I tell people, that's my advice. Don't do it if you don't have to, because if you have a job and you have a life and you're happy and you want to try stand-up, like dinner theater, go do it. Go take a comedy class and you'll do the last night and you'll get on stage and you'll feel exhilarated and it'll be fun and you'll probably go home and fuck your wife or your husband and, you know, for the first time in months, and it'll be great. But unless you can't live and eat and sleep because it burns at your fucking soul,
right.
Like that's what art does. And I tell people that because it's a ridiculously huge sacrifice at any age to decide you want to pursue an art. No matter what, you're going to suffer and everyone around you is going to suffer in one way or another. And I'm not saying it's bad, but all of a sudden you're going to have less money, less time for family. You won't be going to functions because you might have a gig or a showing or a show. Whatever it is, the sacrifice of being an artist is so fucking great that you wish you could have done anything else. Like, really. So if you feel what I'm trying to tell you, like, that's my advice. You know, I lived in my fucking car for a year.
That's right.
Want to be an artist? Right. I couldn't afford not to study. Like,
you did that while you were paying for acting classes with Stella Adler, correct?
Because I couldn't afford an apartment.
It was
in
one
classes.
or the other, and you
make
committed.
A fucking choice.
You chose, exactly.
That's what it is, though. You got to make choices, and that's the life.
I love you, Richard Chassler.
Thank you.
I mean
love
it.
you guys a lot.
I mean it.
You know,
so much.
You guys are amazing.
Cool. I love you, Mrs. Ryan.
Love you.
Thanks again for having me.
Thank you for
I'm-
being here
I'm your
again,
new.
man.
I'm your new Alec Baldwin.
It's actually happened.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tomorrow, Breakfast Club. That's
Oh,
awesome.
good.
I need it
The
this
end of
week.
the
I'm
week.
so
Holy
excited.
cow.
Can't wait to hit up the. There we go. Can't wait to hit up the mountain. Up Newcomb's Ranch. Good Vibes Breakfast Club. Anybody wants to come on out? They open at 9. See you there. Next week we've got John Benton, Kevin Couch, maybe Mark Summers. Haven't heard from him yet, but maybe we're.
Do you want my
undetermined.
gigs?
What's that?
You want to know where you can see them?
Absolutely, Richard Chassler.
All right,
Where can
so
we see you?
July, I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, July 10, 11, 12.
Okay.
Where if the dates correlate with those days, I will be doing American expat bars in Baja California, Mexico.
That's
across
killer.
the border,
Whoa.
baby, in Mexico.
Where in Mexico?
It's Ensenada and Rosarito Beach.
Okay.
So find
Trying to drag
comedy
it
in Rosarito, and I will be down there with the very funny Jackie Gold opening for me.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
I love to take Jackie. I like dirty females to be my opening act.
Oh,
They
my.
set the audience up great for me, and Jackie is very funny. Her half hour is really.
We're going to talk
really-
about her off the air, right?
Jackie's great.
We're gonna get her in here.
And so you can see that in July, and then August. September 7, 8, I'll be at the Blue Room Comedy Club in St. Joseph, Missouri, I think it is.
Okay.
If it's not St. Joseph, Missouri, it's definitely near there.
Okay.
It's in Missouri.
It's in Missouri.
Flying
near
into St. Joseph.
I'm flying in either St. Joe or St. Louis, so I'll be in Missouri at the Blue Room Comedy Club. Yeah. And just find me, richardchassler.com.
Yeah, and stay tuned here because he'll be back.
It's all Richard Chassler, everything.
Love you, man. We love everybody at home. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Dude, you're awesome.
You knew when I started off with the Roseanne comment that it was going to be that kind of show.
Yeah.
You
but
talked
do
about
fit.
Coco the Gorilla.